Well, it's Monday at GasWeather.com, which means only one thing, it's Europe Day. Every Monday at GasWeather, we have a look at weather for the coming week across the continent, and today is no exception. It's pretty mild across many parts of Europe right now. Warm westerly winds are bathing much of the continent, where it's colder in the far north. I think things will be turning a bit colder, particularly in central and northern parts, as we go through into the middle and latter stages of the week. It's going to be a slow old process, so generally another pretty warm week to come, actually, certainly warmer than average time of year for many parts of the continent. Before I get on with that, I just want to say about the ads. Links to articles on most pages at GasWeather.com. Browse free widgets, any articles that you're interested in, just click through and you'll be able to go off and read those articles, and thanks very much for doing that. The website we're using for European Outlook is website.de. You might link to that on the links page. So let's get on with the European Outlook this Monday morning. Here's today's stochastic pressure chart. We've got low pressure, very deep areas of low pressure around Iceland and to the north and northwest of Europe, moving in towards Norway. Really between Norway and Greenland, deep areas of low pressure with a very strong polar vortex. We've also got high pressure here through many central parts of the Mediterranean, so it's a classic zonal setup based with strong westerly winds blasting across all parts of the continent. We have a look at the upper air temperatures. We can see the extent of the warmth across many western, southern, central parts of Europe. Really warm air today, pushing in on those westerly to southwesterly winds. Now, the far north of Scandinavia, up across the far north of Norway and Sweden, coming down to Finland as well, is a lot colder, and it's also a little bit colder in the very far northwest of the British Isles, going down towards Scotland and Northern Ireland. But overall, very mild many parts of Europe. Then what's coming to the east and southeast Europe, temperatures there well above average as well. So the real cold today, with the dew points, is up across central and northern parts of Scandinavia and going off in towards northern Russia as well. Otherwise, the dew points really are very, very mild for the time of the year, particularly out in the west. So a lot of this across Europe, this precipitation is rain. We've got heavy rain extending in across the central southern parts of the British Isles, and also going into the Low Countries and Denmark, and extending in towards some parts of Germany, Poland as well. Going further north, most of this over Scandinavia will be falling as snow, and that's about it really. Some heavy thunderstorms down across Greece, but otherwise lots and lots of dry weather really as we're going through the continent today. Very, very dry scene across many parts under that ridge of high pressure. So it really is very mild, particularly out in the west, UK and down into France, in temperatures up to 10, 11, 12 degrees, quite wide into the 50s Fahrenheit. Even going into central eastern parts of Europe, the temperatures are above freezing, and that is higher than you would expect in the east of Europe at this time of year. The very, very far northeast, we have got some sub-zero temperatures up there, so it gets a bit colder as you get up towards Russia, but most parts of Europe above freezing and warmer than average. Moving through into the middle part of the week, that basic setup continues. It's turning colder all the time over Scandinavia, but otherwise it's the same sort of setup. High pressure bridging through many southern, southeastern parts of Europe. Low pressure out in the northwest, and this area of low pressure just here, heading in towards Ireland. It looks like quite an intense storm Wednesday into Thursday as it pushes into the United Kingdom. So very mild upper air temperatures again. Even the colder upper air temperatures in the north of Scandinavia receding a little bit through the middle part of the week. And look at how these westerlies are extending that warmth right into western parts of Russia. Particularly mild through the Mediterranean and going off in towards the west of Europe around Ireland as well. The dew points are a little bit colder across Scandinavia, but otherwise generally a very mild scene with turns of the low level air as we go through into the middle part of the week. Heavy rain coming into the UK with both severe gales. So yeah, really wet weather sweeping in off the Atlantic into the northwest of Europe. Some of this across Scandinavia will be snow, and then coming down in central parts of Europe, there could be some rain across parts of France, in towards the Low Countries, Holland, Belgium, then going off into Germany as well. Some outbreaks rain. Of course, that turns to snow as we come over to the Alps, and there could be a little bit of snow falling over the Alps. But to the east and the southeast Europe, lots and lots of dry weather, and it's a mild scene really across most parts of Europe. Those temperatures are holding up. Well, actually, surprisingly, just before that storm arrives in the UK, it's a little bit cold there, with temperatures just 2 or 3 degrees. But that storm will produce milder air later on. But generally, it's a mild scene for most of Europe. Germany, for instance, at 4, 5, 6 degrees. Poland, 4, 5, 6 degrees. Even going into Ukraine, those temperatures are holding up above freezing right in the east of Europe. And very mild, very pleasant, really, through the Mediterranean. As we head through into the end of the week, that deep storm system will be heading in towards Norway, taking severe gales and heavy snow into parts of Scandinavia as cold air begins to try and dig back in. Also, cold air beginning to come back around the backside of this low pressure in towards Ireland, the United Kingdom. Also, possibly parts of Denmark, northern Germany, the Low Countries, northern France, cooling down a little bit as well. Pressure is weakening through the Mediterranean, so we could start to generate some showers through the Med at the end of the week. Have a look at that in a moment, see if that does come off. So colder air is coming back into the northwest of Europe around that low pressure. As the low pressure moves into Scandinavia, it could produce some snow for parts of Norway and Sweden, particularly, of course, over the mountainous regions. And then the warmth across the Med is beginning to shift into the southeast of Europe as it starts to cool down a bit through central and western parts of the Mediterranean. So it's still relatively cold with those dew points. It turns relatively cold with dew points over Scandinavia, and that goes down in towards west parts of Russia as well. The cold air coming back into the United Kingdom. That cold air is originated from the Atlantic, unusually enough. Very odd pattern, this one, but it's coming off the coast of Greenland, so that's why the cold air is coming in off the Atlantic. Generally, the dew points are falling across many parts of Europe. They aren't desperately cold at the end of the week, but it is turning colder, I think, as we're getting through towards the end of the week and the weekend. So heavy showers or thunderstorms are indeed being set off through the central Med, Corsica, Sardinia, Italy, going over the Adriatic into the Balkans. Heavy showers, thunderstorms in places, and of course, as coming towards the inland part of the Balkans, that could start to turn to sleet or snow as that cold air begins to dig in. And lots of heavy showers and longer spells of rain, sleet or snow out in the northwest. Much of it over Scandinavia will be snow. For the United Kingdom, we're going to be looking at more sort of showers, but turning more wintry in the north and the west. Spain, Portugal, largely dry, as is Mallorca, Menorca and Ibiza, and then going down in towards Greece, it's largely dry as well. The temperatures at the end of the week are cooling off, still milder than you would expect really for the middle of January across the central part of the continent, but even so, just at 2, 3, 4 degrees. That is low enough for some of that precipitation to be turning a bit on the wintry side. Also notice it's cooling down through the Mediterranean. But as we go into next weekend, well, cold air is digging in from Scandinavia into central parts of Europe, or colder air in central parts of Europe. Still a suggestion of low pressure somewhere around Italy, producing some heavy showers. And this area of low pressure out in west is trying to come in off the Atlantic. That may produce a little bit of a battle, a little bit of a snow event for parts of the UK. We'd have to firm up on that one. So the cold air is digging through the north of Europe into central parts. It's not desperately cold air by any means, but yeah, it's a bit colder as we're going through into the next weekend. This milder air from the Atlantic is trying to get in, but it's struggling as the cold air really holds sway up to Sunday anyway across the UK and parts of France as well. Dew points generally below freezing across much of Europe by next weekend. They're not severely cold, don't get me wrong, but generally about a little bit below freezing. And across Scandinavia, things are turning colder as well. And even in the west, as I say, the United Kingdom largely having dew points below freezing. Central east parts of France with the dew points below freezing, and inland parts of Spain as well. So it is turning colder as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend, albeit not severely cold. Still some heavy showers and thunderstorms around Italy and the Adriatic, and some of this across Germany. There's precipitation here and come down to eastern France, could be wintry, perhaps a wintry mix of rain, sleet or snow, and then snow flurries up over Scandinavia, and then this weather system in the Atlantic trying to come in, maybe producing some rain, sleet or snow later on through Ireland, the UK and into parts of France as well. We do need to watch out for that one. The temperatures are cool at the end of the week, not severely cold, but generally with just 1 or 2 degrees above freezing, probably above average still really for many inland parts of Europe. I mean Germany, Poland, Ukraine. You would expect it to be colder than this in the middle of January, really. But even so, yeah, it's going to be a little bit cooler as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend. Notice it is turning colder over the Alps as well, with some temperatures there going several degrees below freezing. So there'll be quite a bit of snow coming up later this week across the Alps. That's pretty good news, I think, for those of you but like to go and have a ski. So, in summary, we're going to be starting off very, very mild across Europe today. Really warm westerlies pushing right the way through into the far east of Europe and up into Russia as well, actually, as we go early on and into the middle part of the week. Later in the week and into the weekend, I think we're slowly going to turn it colder from the north. It's not going to turn severely cold, but it will turn colder compared to what it is now. And an increasing risk, I think, through central parts of Europe as we get through to the end of the week and into the weekend. That's the rain will begin to turn more and more wintry. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.